Oh. Okay, Benfica beat Juve in Turin.
Arrivederci, nós vamos vincere.
We won a cup recently, still in the Taça de Portugal, still have a shot at the league. Man, things are going great. Wait, what? Well, that's unfortunate. Have I enjoyed every match this season? No, not at all, but I have enjoyed myself more than I have been in pain this season. So that's a good thing. You know, let's have a chill video. Let's go stand free. Let's free the mic for this one. Okay, so quite a few of you have asked me about these Benfica audio leaks of our coach screaming. It says chatting, but scream chatting with some supporters. Some interesting things were said. So let's talk about that. I would have put this out sooner, but then Rui Costa, Benfica's president, if you weren't aware, said that he would speak to the media after the Juve match. So I waited. And yeah, I've got my number one love from my Benfica kit collection on 2001, 2002. And actually, I'll pull it up here. I've been building a miniature Estadio da Luz. Shout out Micro Designs for sending me this. Not an ad, but thank you. It's been a welcome break from screens. But it's also been keeping me away from Red Dead Redemption 2. So that's kind of a problem. But it's coming along. I'm not done yet, but it's coming along. So last thing before we get into it, I'm going to be doing live streams on Big Up. The first one is this weekend for Arsenal versus Manchester City, which is cool because I can actually show highlights from the Premier League on there, pull up a tactics board, and you guys can call in as well. So use the link and join the Rabona TV community on here. All right? Let's get into this. This will be a very simplified version, by the way. We won't go all 20-minute explainer on you. This is just so you know generally what's up. A general what up video, not something where you're going to be an expert on every single aspect of the situation. So for some context, Benfica recently lost to Casa Pia in the league 3-1 after being 1-0 up. Just a general disaster, and a match that Benfica should not be losing if they are indeed serious about winning the league title, despite Casa Pia being in some hot form at the moment. I gotta hand it to them. Overall, I've seen worse in a Benfica season, you know, much worse, but for some, it's not really about the results themselves, but how the team has been playing lately, and supporters let their voices be known. A bunch of them were waiting at the Benfica bus after the match, and they were, well, not happy. Here's a video from Record where you can hear and see how angry the supporters are. And see Bruno Lage saying, "Help me solve this." Now, Bruno Lage spoke with supporters for about 30 minutes outside of the Estadio da Luz. After this, supporters that were waiting for the bus to return from Casa Pia, which isn't too far away, and about 2 minutes of that conversation was leaked, and there are moments where a brother is screaming at these supporters. First, I'll give you the info of what he said, how he defended himself after, and then what Rui Costa said, and then my take on it all. By the way he's absolutely screaming at these guys. Did you see the Benfica-Barcelona match right after the final whistle? That's basically what he was doing with these supporters, it feels like. Just close your eyes and listen to this snippet. Now, with that in mind, some of the things he said were, you have to understand, I'm very used to them taking our best players. Everything is going to Saudi Arabia. Do you know who I spoke to yesterday? 2 players from the youth team here. They're eager to get back to this. I'm the one who's going to do this. It won't happen overnight, Diogo, who was one of the people who were present. It won't change. You can't put these guys who are worth 20 million on the bench and then sell them for 5. And then how are we going to buy players? Okay, so I omitted a ton of swear words in there, but one of the things that's opened up a massive inquisition is, who is Diogo? Who is he? There were rumors that he was the son of someone who works at the Gestafood agency, aka Jorge Mendes' agency, which would be crazy. Also, one of the players that people assume he's talking about with market values is Artur Cabral, who has been an absolute bust considering what we paid for him, and we received an offer of around 5 to 10 million to take him off of our hands. And then he gets a start against Casa Pia out of nowhere. We don't know for sure. We're all just sort of feeling around in the dark. But anyway, back to the yelling. You think that this doesn't hurt like hell to be out there analyzing games, playing a game like we did against Barcelona and then give away 2 penalties? Or in the last 5 games conceding goals from set pieces that nobody jumps for? How do I change this, man? I'm with you, dude. It's tough to watch Benfica defend set pieces. Just horrible at times. We're as bad as Man United at defending set pieces. Back to yelling. It can last as long as it lasts, and the first and easiest target is the coach if he doesn't have your support. And then another one comes along, and another one comes along, and another one comes along, and won't be able to solve the problem. I will. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. If I act like this in front of the TV, what will they say, Diogo? You've lost your temper. You've lost it. You're exposing the players. Whew. Yeah. So after that, Benfica called an emergency press conference. More like Bruno Lage did. Now, my first thought was, it would have been nice if Rui Costa sat in on this one, if he was up there by him, but he wasn't part of the press conference. Apparently he was there, but he wasn't part of it. For those who aren't aware, presidents in Portugal are very present. I mean, ideally they are. It's funny saying that leading into this, but presidents similar to what you would see in La Liga, right? With Laporta or Perez, etc. Presidents often speak to the media. So for Rui Costa to not show in this press conference, this emergency press conference, you're essentially begging the media to speculate on why the president isn't there. You're letting go of control of the narrative by letting the reporters speculate as to why you aren't there. And in light of some of the things that were mentioned, such as market values, potentially dictating who plays, the coach wouldn't care about market values. That seems like it would be an order from the higher ups, right? Anyway, I won't read quotes from the conference, but Lage essentially said this. I went to speak to the fans for about 30 minutes and he thought that it was a private conversation. He acknowledged what he said about players not jumping at corner kicks, saying that was in relation to what he had said at the press conference directly after the match about a team that has ambition to win, cannot concede goals like that, and that he said it to the players prior, so it wasn't like he was exposing them in the media or even to the supporters. To be honest, he kind of brushed over the market values thing, except for that he has a lot of faith in the squad. He was asked if there was instability, but he said any instability would just come from results. He was asked if he felt the need to say all these things to the people, and he said that he felt it was a conversation that was good for all Benfiquistas. Well, the 30-minute version of the conversation, that it was a conversation about unity, etc. So what did Rui say? When asked if Bruno Lage's job was in jeopardy, he said that he finds it funny that every time Benfica loses, the coach should be fired. And he pointed out that Benfica is still in the Champions League. They won a League Cup, still in the Portuguese Cup, and just 6 points behind Sporting. He also pointed out that it's a weird season as each of the big 3 have changed coaches now, which you don't really see that often. When asked if he approved of the conversation, he said that we, as in the staff, should always speak with the fans, but that this was an ugly episode. To be honest, there wasn't a lot of juice from his answers. Seems like everything will carry on as usual, even when asked about how Bruno Lage kind of took some sneaky shots at the board regarding the another coach and another one, who will fix it, as well as the talk about player values. Not much juice. But I will say, elections are coming for Benfica. They're scheduled for October. So I didn't expect a lot to happen with Rui Costa. So what do I think of all of this? Honestly, like every other fan base, this isn't unique to Benfica at all. A lot of people aren't impressed with Bruno Lage and want him gone, partially due to, well, him having a terrible resume right after Benfica. He was bad at Wolves and even worse at Botafogo, and then he comes back to Benfica. I personally don't think that he has been bad enough this season to deserve getting the sack. Was I excited about his hiring? No. Especially not on an 18-month contract. I would have been fine to have him just take a caretaker role to see out the season, but he won 10 of the first 11 league matches he coached. He ultimately got us through in the Champions League. We won the League Cup, still in the Taça de Portugal. I think based on what he has done on the pitch, he still deserves to be there. It's not that sack-worthy. Now, was it professional what he did, screaming at supporters like that? Hell no. I mean, in the press conference, he tried to downplay it, calling it a 35-minute conversation. But there are moments where that ain't a conversation, man. You're just screaming over those guys. Still, is that sack-worthy? No. I mean, let's be real. The thing about players not jumping, that's a nothing burger as well. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe it's a bit embarrassing for the players, but it's not like he named names. Those players can easily just think to themselves, well, surely he wasn't talking about me. And take no accountability and just carry on, you know? Carry on not jumping at corners. Here's the thing that was really, really shit to hear though. I don't ever want to hear my coach talking about market values. It's something he never needs to mention. He should never speak about it because they should only be worrying about which individual will best help the team to win, who deserves to play, not what they're worth or how playing them or not will affect their resale value in the future. We're never going to escape the feeder club allegations, man. But it does kind of confirm what we already knew, right? Especially with a team like Benfica. I mean, longtime watchers, you've seen me rant about Jorge Mendes and his influence on football in general, but how does Benfica get such high values for their transfers all the time? We pay the piper. We call Tio Jorge, and all of our best players get ripped away thanks to that. And I mean, the club gets money, but competitively, we suffer. So it sucks to hear that, because it just ensures that you're cynical about every selection. Is Sjelderup finally getting to play now because there was rumors that he was unhappy a month ago and wanted to leave? Could the same be said of Antonio Silva, who has been nothing close to the player he once was, but he's still playing over and over again because there were rumors of him generating interest from abroad? Are we straight up putting him in the shop window now? Is that what's dictating his selection, or because of something we're not seeing in training? Are we trying to build up his value again, or does he actually deserve to play based on what's happening in training? Because he's been shaky in the matches. It's funny how Cabral suddenly got a start against Casapia after there were rumors of a bid for him that was far, far, far below what we paid Fiorentina for him. You know, it just turns everything into a big mystery. Is this player starting for the right reasons, or the ones that are wrong, the bored reasons? So I mean, while I agree with some stuff that he said, and I can see why he would want to be down to earth and, you know, speak to the supporters who are there waiting for the team, allow them to air their grievances and take part in a rare chat that honestly fans never get the opportunity to have directly with the head coach of the team they support. I mean, his intention was good, but it's 2025, man. You didn't think that this would get leaked? You think that people have honor in 2025? Of course it was going to get out. What are you doing yelling and screaming about these things with some supporters? It's just naive. Anyway, if things get worse for Benfica results-wise, then don't be surprised to see more of that 30-minute conversation magically released, and then that's used to justify his sacking even further. Or maybe I'm just cynical and don't know what to believe anymore. Honestly, I used to get all fired up and emotional about Benfica, and I still do, don't get me wrong, but not like toxically emotional. I know it will never be a smooth ride with this club, so I just try to enjoy what I can, take a deep breath, and build a miniature Estadio da Luz, or play Red Dead Redemption 2. That's fun also. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me in this therapy session. Join the Big Up community linked below, and I'll see you next week for some more videos, all right? Have a great weekend. What did you think of wireless mic? Free mic. Good? Or send him back to the penitentiary here. Let me know.